Yes, sir. It's about that time. It's your boy RegDolla, and this is the third annual Goated Fictional Big Board. I know you peeped through two goats, Kobe and Mike, but in this big board, we about to go break down the top 45 prospects in my opinion. And if you guys want more big board videos from my other classes, let's smash the like button. Let's reach 50 likes, and let's also smash the subscribe button too. Without further ado, I need my boy Cooley to turn me up. You feel me? My guy Cooley really be coming through with the beat. Shout out to my guy Cooley. But let's get to it. Cooley, like hell. Let's go. Before we start, let's take a look at the tiers. Gen 1 is generational can't miss prospect like a LeBron, Wemby, and Zion. Tier 1 is a franchise star slash superstar like a Tatum, Ja, or Anthony Edwards. Tier 2 is an all-star to all-NBA caliber player. Tier 3 is an all-star upside slash a high-end role player or six-man. Tier 4 is a solid role player, could be a fourth or fifth starter. And Tier 5 is a low-end role player. Tier 6, fighting for a roster spot in G League. Without further ado, let's get to it. Coming in at number 1, we had the most outstanding player and national champ, Reggie Mack from the Brotherhood Duke University. Yes, sir. Mack is a generational prospect that posted an all-around stat line of nearly 20 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists on an efficient stat line, leading his team and John Shire to his first championship as a head coach at Duke. Reggie is a two-way, three-level shot creator with a special combination of smoothness, skill, size at 6'9", and generational athleticism. One of the best shot makers in the mid-range and has the traits of many great wings as he's an elite scorer while bringing it on the defensive end. His biggest knock on him that he needs to get stronger and his questionable shot selection at time. Moving on to the shades of, Reggie Mack idolized the late great Kobe Bryant and resembles some of the swagger, the footwork, the skill, the intensity, and killer mentality that a young Kobe possessed, while also drawing comparisons to KD and BI with his size and length and ability to score at 3 levels. And his last comp is Amen Thompson with his freakish athleticism ability. Reggie has shown that he's built for this. Superstar potential and possibility of being the best in the world while also having a really high floor. And when it's all said and done, I think the skill set of Reggie Mack and the potential that he has, he could go down as one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Coming in at number 2, we had the physical specimen out of Georgetown, Rich Mack. Rich is a generational talent and had arguably the greatest freshman season as he posted up a dominant 25, 13, and 3 blocks and carried the Georgetown program back to relevancy and saved Patrick Ewing's job as he turned a 16 and 13 mid-squad into a 37 and 4 national championship runner-up. He had a dominant 38-point and 26 rebound game against Kentucky in the Final Four and a 33 and 15 game against Duke in the championship game and a loss. Moving on to his game, he is a paint beast who uses his physical size to dominate his opponent while showing off good touch and footwork and also relentless on both ends of the floor. And an anchor on the defensive end of the floor with his 8-foot wingspan having a presence on nearly every play. Finally, the players that Rich Mack reminds me of is the two most dominant forces in history, Shaquille O'Neal and Wilt Chamberlain. Freakish combination of size, power, athleticism, overmatching their opponents, and also shades of David Robinson and Udoka Azubuike. Rich Mack has serious potential to be one of the greatest players to ever play the game. NBA ready since high school, dominated a college game, and there's no one in the NBA that's going to be able to match his size and strength at the next level, and he's only 19. He should be an all-star from year 1 in the league, and the league is his if he stays healthy and has a chance to be a transcendent player that no one will ever forget. At number 3, we have the 6'9" small forward out of Texas, Jeremy Goodson. Jeremy is a tier 1 prospect as he averaged nearly 24 a game and was conference player of the year and also first team All-American. In the draft class of many athletic prospects, Jeremy's explosive athleticism stands out the most, elite finisher while being an elite shot creator and mostly in the mid-range. Has the tools to be great on the defensive end but needs to continue to work on that and also his playmaking. Moving on to the shades of, Jeremy draws comparisons to some of the most athletically gifted and some of the best scoring wings of all time, and that of Michael Jordan, DeMar DeRozan, Dominique Wilkins, and Vince Carter. Jeremy has the chance to become a superstar and someone that can elevate a franchise and make them must-see. Coming in at number 4, we have the 6'8" shooting guard out of Kentucky, Maurice Davis. Mo led Kentucky with his twin brother to a Final Four appearance, averaging about 21 points on an elite shooting splits 48, 42, and 88. He's an absolute scoring machine with great shooting ability, is scorer off the bounce and off the catch as well. Also great at finishing at the rim, but has a tendency of settling a lot and needs to be a more willing playmaker. Has flashes, but can be better on that end. Mo most reminds me of T-Mac with his 6'8 frame and pull-up ability, also while showing shades of Bucks Ray Allen with his shooting ability and athleticism and shot creation compared to Zach LaVine and Jalen Green. Maurice has superstar upside and potential to be a scoring champ one day. 6'8 guys with a combination of athleticism, shooting touch don't grow on trees, and this brother is special. At number 5, we have the 6'11 forward out of UCLA, Jabari Mack. Jabari averaged 18 points while being a defensive playmaker, averaging 2 steals and 2 blocks to go along with that. Jabari showed 3-level scoring while his shot making was his biggest strength, also versatility on both ends. He can improve on his finishing and tighten up his handles, but moving on to the shades of, Jabari has shades of MPJ, PG, KD, and BI. All big wings that are shot makers, and Jabari has similar defensive upside to like a PG and KD. Overall, Jabari has the upside to become a superstar with his two-way potential and shot-making ability, and it's hard to pass up on a 6'11 guy like this. At number 6, we have the other twin brother out of Kentucky, Carlton Davis. Carlton is a big guard at 6'7", that averaged 17, 5, and 6, and was arguably the most important player on that Kentucky squad. He's a two-way play shot that is crafty and one of the best playmakers in the class, and also takes pride on the defensive end of the court. He's a good playmaker that doesn't have OD burst and doesn't take over as much as he wants to, but that could be to playing with his brother basically his whole life. Moving on to the shades of, he has flashes of these 4 big ball handlers in Penny Hardaway, Shea Alexander, DeJounte Murray, and Tyreek Evans. Carlton has the upside to be a superstar and one of the most well-rounded guards that we ever seen play this game. On to number 7, we have the point guard out of Louisville, Austin Mack. I don't know what made him go to Louisville, but he is the most talented player to ever go there. A complete offensive threat that averaged about 18 points and 6 assists a game. His biggest strength is his handle, as he's able to get to anywhere on the court, and pair that up with his electric athleticism. He's as entertaining a player as they come. He got OD Wiggleton with high flying bounce. Needs to clean up his decision making at times and become engaged on the defensive end. Austin handle and shot creation ability reminds me of Kyrie Irving and Allen Iverson, 2 of the best scorers at their size. And Austin also displays similar athleticism to those of Ja Morant and Jaden Ivey as well. Austin's ceiling is a superstar with a complete offensive game, and he's someone that you build your team around, as he's a must-see talent that could change a franchise. At number 8, we had the best shooting prospect ever from Arizona, Danny Tyler. Danny had a historic shooting season as he averaged 23.5 points on 47, 43, and 90 shooting splits. He's a playmaking shot creator that must be accounted for whenever he steps over half court. Great pull-up shooter out of pick and roll, and a movement shooter covering all screens as well. Needs to work on his defense, and he'll never be elite on that end, and also needs to improve on his decision making as he has questionable, ill-advised shots at times. Danny has shades of 4 of the best shooters at the point guard spot of all time, such as Stephen Curry, the GOAT shooter, Steve Nash, Trae Young, and Mark Price. All are capable and elite playmakers as well. I think Danny could reach superstar status and could be an offensive engine for a team one day. His shooting ability would keep him in the league for a long time to come. On to the last tier 1 prospect. At number 9, we had the 7'1" big, one half of the Twin Towers in Houston, Troy Mack. Troy led Houston to a Final Four appearance and one of the best defenses in the country. He averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks a game. And I don't think the stats did him justice on how impactful he was on the court. He's a two-way inside-out scorer with potential to stretch it out down the line, and is the best defender in the class. As versatile as it comes, and is routinely switching 1 through 5, high IQ, and a straight dog with grab and go ability. He can improve on his shot creation and rebound more. Moving on to his shades of, he has shades of Kevin Garnett and Evan Mobley with his defensive impact and versatility, and shades of Chris Bosh with his lefty stroke and low post game. And his last comparison is what Harry Giles was supposed to be. If you know, then you know. Harry Giles was a dog in high school before he got the ACL injuries. Troy has the best upside to be the best defender in the world, and not many have the ability or motor to even become that. At number 10, and starting off tier 2, we have the first prospect on this board from the G League Ignite, Devontae Tucker. Devontae came in physically ready for the G League at 6'9", 240 and average 17 points, 8 rebounds on respectable shooting splits. He's a 3-level shot creator that displayed his shot making, finishing, and even post game on the offensive end. He needs to get better defensively and improve on his lateral quickness. It's hard not to see him and not see the comps between LaMelo and Jabari Parker just based off his physical traits, and he also has similarities to these two players in their face-up game. He also reminds me a little bit of Michael Beasley and Rudy Gay as well as his floor. His ceiling is an all-NBA caliber player and a two-way scorer if the defense ever comes around. At number 11, we had the second of the Twin Towers at Houston, Khalif Kingston. Khalif averaged 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks a game for a Final Four squad. He was a defensive anchor as he finished top 10 in blocks and altered many more shots. And he's also a very smart defender that knows how to use his size on the offensive end as a lob threat with some post game as well. He can work on his offensive polish to take his game to the next level. And moving on to the shades of, Khalif has shades of Tim Duncan in his high IQ and reliability and just knows how to get the job done. Also has shades of Jared Allen and AD due to his athletic traits and lob presence. And the final shades of is a little shades of Patrick Ewing. If the offense catches up to the defense, he has a chance to be a special talent in the league, but his calling card will always be his impactful defense. Coming in at 12, we have our first international prospect from Croatia, Dario Dajakovic. Dario was productive overseas as he averaged 16 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. He's a two-way, 3-level shot creator that showed the ability to score from the post, facing up, and even spotting up from the 3. Has a high IQ and feel for the game, good passer, especially out of the high post, and has scary defensive upside as he's versatile and able to defend on the perimeter. He needs to get stronger and improve as a shot creator. And on to the shades of, due to his high IQ and feel for the game, he gives me a lot of Pau Gasol vibes. Another 7-footer that is skilled, but he's also more fluid and more mobile. He also gives me a little bit of shades of Chet Holmgren and AK-47 Andre Karolinko. And due to his pick and pop ability, also has shades of Kristaps Porzingis. Dario's productivity overseas showed that he's ready to contribute right now and has one of the most unique skill sets in the draft that could potentially turn him into a steal down the line. At 13, we have the lethal shooter out of Gonzaga, Scott Kane. Behind Danny Tyler, I think Scott Kane is the best shooter in the class. He averaged 19 points on 44% from the field, 44 from 3, and 89 from the free throw line. Scott is a sharpshooting shot creator that is excellent off the ball and running off screens, has a pure stroke in the class, and he can create for his own and operate out of the pick and roll. The handle does have room for improvement, and his defense isn't that great. But moving on to the shades of, first player that he reminds me of is Drazen Petrovic, who is ahead of his time, elite shooter, and also gives me shades of Klay Thompson because of his ability to get hot and knock down shots. Another comparison is Tyler Hero for obvious reasons. And the last comparison, if he reaches his ultimate upside and develops as a scorer, I could see him being similar to how Devin Booker is. Devin Booker wasn't projected to be as like a star level guy, but he worked his way up, know how to play off ball and knock down shots, and developed as a shot creator as time went on. Overall, Scott's shooting ability is going to attract a lot of teams, and on top of that, he's shown the ability to get his own when needed. Scott's shooting ability is going to attract a lot of teams, and on top of that, he's shown the ability to get his own when needed to. Wouldn't be surprised if he ends up developing into an all-star. Moving on to number 14, we had the 7'2" big out of Kansas, Trent Beretta. Trent started off the season slow, but picked it up and finished off by averaging 13 points, 7 boards, and 2.5 blocks while shooting 40% from the three-point line. He's another two-way, 3-level scorer that's best trait on the offensive end is shooting the ball. Defensively, he protects the rim as well as almost anybody in the country as he finished top 10 in blocks. He needs to get his weight up. Onto the shades of, he has shades of Dirk Nowitzki, Larry Markin, and Kristaps Porzingis on his ability to stretch the floor and also face up as well. And from the rim protection perspective, he also has vibes of Kristaps and also Chet Holmgren as well. His floor is a rotational stretch 5 in the league, while his floor is a rotational stretch 5, while his ceiling is being an all-star to all-NBA caliber if the scoring reaches another level. At 15, we have At 15, we have the 6'8" wing from Tennessee, Jalen Miller. Jalen showcases scoring ability at his 1 year, averaging 17 a game on 48, 41, and 81 shooting splits. Jalen is a shot creator that knows how to get his own, but also can play off balls, spot up, and attack closeouts and finish at the rim. His go-to is a step-back jumper, and he's not really a playmaker, and doesn't have the quickest burst. On to his comparisons, he draws comparisons to Paul George, Jason Tatum, Cam Reddish, and Brandon Miller. All similar frames with the ability to score the rock while being either solid to great defensively. Jalen's ability at 6'8" to score the ball and defend at a solid level is going to earn him playing time quick, with the possibility of him becoming a star down the line. At number 16, we had the versatile 6'10" forward out of UNC, Shane Baker. Shane averaged 15 points and 8 boards and displayed his 3-level scoring ability with flashes of playmaking. Not too many guys can create like he can at his size. Fluid athlete with a versatile skill set, needs to improve defensively. But moving on to the shades of, Shane has shades of Paulo, G.G. Jackson, Kyle Kuzma, and Tobias Harris. All 4 big wings that can handle the rock and score at 3 levels and can create for himself. Shane has a foundation to be a very, very talented offensive player if everything breaks right and turn out to be an all-star player, while also having a solid floor of being a versatile forward that could do a little bit of everything. At 17, we had the 6'10" rim protector out of Michigan State, Tyson Dawkins. Tyson averaged 9 points and 9 rebounds and was tied in a league leader in blocks with Rich Mack at 2.9. He's a defensive anchor that won Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten, emphatic shot blocker with a high motor and low maintenance on the offensive end. He has great size and athleticism and is a loud threat on the offensive end, doesn't really have a post game and can get better on his touch. Tyson's shades of is Ben Wallace, Robert Williams, Bam Adebayo, and Jalen Durant. His role in the NBA is going to be simple: protect the rim, rebound, set good screens, and finish around the rim, and he already does that at a pretty good rate. Tyson has the potential to make an all-defensive team and be one of the best rim protectors in the league for many years to come. At 18, we have the do-it-all forward Joe Banks out of Arkansas. Joe is a 6'10" point forward that averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals, filling the stat sheets. He's at his best when he's in the open court, getting downhill, playmaking, and finishing. Defensively, he's versatile as well and can cover multiple positions. His biggest concern going forward is the shooting and shot creation in the half court. Moving on to the shades of, Joe has shades of Ben Simmons, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Johnson, and Lamar Odom. Shooting is going to be his biggest swing skill. If he develops a shot, that could take his game to the next level and potentially an all-star. At 19, we had the floor general of the national championship Duke squad, Kyle Beacham. Kyle is a 6'8" point guard who is arguably the best passer in the class. He averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 8.5 assists a game. At 6'8", he's a slashing playmaker that pressures the rim and finds his open teammates. High-level passer with great feel and IQ, his size gives him a boost. He needs to improve on his efficiency as he wasn't a great scorer at any particular level. Kyle has shades of LaMelo, Josh Giddey, Michael Carter-Williams, and Anthony Black. He's going to be a great connected piece for a team as he affects the game in multiple different ways and makes winning plays. At 20, we had the 6'5" combo guard out of Oregon, Tyus Rogers. Tyus is one of the best scorers in the conference, the lefty that averaged 18 points and 5 assists on 42% from 3. Tyus is a playmaking shot creator that is elite out of making plays out of pick and roll, plays with great pace, and a crafty finisher around the rim. Isn't the burstiest athlete and must improve as a defender. And the players that Tyus reminds me of the most are D'Angelo Russell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Trey Mann, and Tyrese Proctor. Tyus projects to be a reliable guard that can play on and off ball and virtually with anybody in the backcourt. Coming in at 21, we had the shooting guard out of UNC, Dustin Dead. Dustin averaged a calm 15 points on 44, 38, and 85 shooting splits. He's a 3-level scorer that's a really good shooter and great attacking closeouts. He's at his best when he's in transition, where his athleticism shines the most, and needs to improve as a shot creator and become a better defender because the tools are there. The players that Dustin reminds me of are Ray Allen and Zach LaVine, which are a higher outcome, and what could be a lower outcome is like a Terrence Ross and Jeremy Lamb type. Dustin has the shooting and athleticism that teams want in the wing, and if his scoring can take the next leap, he could be an all-star caliber player. At 22, we had the second player from the G League Ignite, Pierre Duval. Pierre, at only 6'2", averaged 15.5 points, 4 rebounds, and nearly 7 assists on 53% shooting in the G League. He's a lightning-quick guard that gets to the paint whenever he wants and is crafty around the rim. His playmaking is just as good as his finishing, and he knows how to set the tables for his teammate. Moving on to the shades of, Pierre has shades of Tony Parker, with his finishing, Rondo with his playmaking, and fast like players like Pierre may not have superstar upside, but he's gonna be a player that superstars want to play with. At 23, we had the big out of LSU, Dante Carter. Dante nearly put up a double-double, averaging 17 points, 9 rebounds on 47, 41, and 74 shooting splits. He's a 3-level scorer at the 5 spot. He's comfortable scoring with his back to the basket, facing up, and using his shooting touch. Needs to be a better defender and a passer out of the post. And moving on to the shades of, Dante has shades of Cat, Naz Reid, Nene, and Boogie Cousins. Dante has a versatile skill set. Dante's versatile skill set on the offensive end is going to intrigue teams as he's going to be a tough cover in the future if his game develops. At 24, we have the point guard from Auburn, Adrian Sparks. Adrian averages steady 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists with nearly 2 steals. He's a playmaking shot creator that makes the game easier on his teammates. He has potential to be a good two-way player. His scoring upside is going to be the biggest question mark going forward. And moving on to his shades on, Adrian has shades of Tyrese Halliburton, Sean Livingston, DeJounte Murray, and Lonzo Ball. Adrian projects to be a high-level connected piece that all teams are looking for. At 25, we have the Serbian prospect Milo Nikolic. Milo was productive in his minutes, averaging nearly 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. At 6'9", Milo is a shooter that shot 41% from 3 and also had playmaking chops. He has great IQ and knows how to play. He can improve as a defender and a finisher. And moving on to the shades of, Milo has shades of Bojan Bogdanovic, Hilo Turkoglu, Toni Kukoc, and Danilo Gallinari. All skilled wings that can shoot the ball, make plays for others, and create for themselves. Milo's skill set and ability to shoot the ball and playmake is going to boost the team's offense and is really going to intrigue teams. At 26, we have the 6'5" guard from Arkansas, Rico Ryder. Rico averaged 16 a game and showed some really good flashes during his time at Arkansas. His athleticism and frame is off the charts. He's able to get a shot off nearly against anybody, but needs to work on his consistency and doesn't really create well for others. On to his shades of, he has shades in Anthony Edwards, Jason Richardson, J.R. Smith, and Isaiah Ryder. Great athlete that looks to score first and hasn't seen a shot that he hasn't liked. Rico has the potential to be a high-level two-way guard if he ends up putting it together consistently. Moving on to number 27, we have our first non-freshman, Devin Brown. Devin averaged 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists while being an elite defender. He's a two-way play shot that has a case of being the best guard defender in the class. He made a huge leap in his sophomore year as he came out of nowhere, dog on the defensive end, needs to improve as a shot creator and also shooting consistency. On to his shades of, Devin has shades of Kason Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Drew Holiday. His two-way ability resembles these players, and Devin Brown is a coach's dream while being an offensive player's nightmare as he has a high motor and competes on every play. At 28, we had the high flyer out of UCLA, Dustin Williams. Dustin averaged 14 points and 9 boards. He's an inside-the-arc glass cleaner that showed flashes of stretching the floor, shooting 38% from 3 on low volume. He's at his best as a roll man, incredible lob threat and great rebounder. He blocks shots well, but can improve as a defender and his lateral quickness. And moving on to the shades of, he has shades of Marvin Bagley, Obi Toppin, John Collins, and Blake Griffin. If you pair him up with the right point guard, he can maximize his game and kill teams in a pick and roll. At 29, we have another member from the Brotherhood, Duke, Primo Parker. Primo played a high-level 3-and-D role for this Duke squad, averaging 13 points, 2 steals, and a block to go along with that. His defense stands out the most as he's a long and disruptive defender, a good cutter, can spot up as well. He can improve as a ball handler and making reads, but onto his shades of, Primo has shades of Devin Vassell, Mikal Bridges, Tayshaun Prince, and Marjon Beauchamp. He's a perfect role player that knows his role, knows how to play all-stars, and defends. At 30, we had the lights-out shooter from Gonzaga, Jalen Honeycutt. Jalen was part of one of the most deadliest shooting duos we've seen in college with Scott Kane. He averaged nearly 20 points on 45, 43, and 83 shooting splits. He's a knockdown spot-up shooter, excellent movement shooter, and has a little bit off the bounce as well. There's room for improvement as a defender to get to that 3-and-D label. And moving on to the shades of, he has shades of Buddy Hield, AJ Griffin, Chris Duarte, and a bigger Seth Curry. He has a chance to be among one of the best shooters in the league, and every team could use an extra floor spacer. Let's recap the top 30 prospects in this class. And for the next 15, we're going to let it play out. And then at that, I'm going to show you the full big board list of the 75 prospects in this class. Let's get to it. And now let's take a look at the top 45 prospects. So much talent in this class. It's so hard to rank all these prospects, but I hope you enjoyed this. And now this time, let's take a look at the full list of the top 75 prospects in the Goated Fictional class. In the description below, I have a Google Doc of each draft class and a player profile if you want to check that out. And this will do it for this video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. You're the real MVP. And if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. And as always, stay safe, be goated, and I'm out.